There's something I want you to think about for a moment. A small pill you take every morning. It's become part of your routine, almost automatic. You don't question it anymore. You trust that it's helping you, that it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And yet, something doesn't feel quite right. Your energy is lower than it used to be. You feel tired earlier in the day. Simple activities feel heavier than they should. Maybe you've noticed that walking the same distance feels different now. Maybe climbing stairs leaves you slightly more winded. Maybe your body feels like it's slowing down, but not in a way that feels natural. And here's the most frustrating part. You're doing everything right. You're taking your medication. You're following instructions. You're trying to take care of yourself. So why does it feel like something isn't working? Here's something that many people are not told. A large number of adults over 60 are still taking medications that were prescribed years ago, sometimes without those prescriptions ever being reevaluated. At the time, they were considered the best option, reliable, familiar, widely used, and for a long time that was true. But medicine changes, research evolves, and sometimes what used to be standard is no longer the most effective choice today. Now let's talk about one specific group of medications. They've been used for decades. They're still very common, and millions of people continue taking them every day. For certain conditions, they are extremely important. But when it comes to straightforward blood pressure management, especially in otherwise stable adults, the conversation has changed, and not everyone has been updated. Let's simplify how this works. Your heart responds to signals in your body. When you're active, it increases output. When you're resting, it slows down. That flexibility is essential. It allows your body to adapt, to move, to respond, to function naturally throughout the day. Some medications reduce how strongly your heart can respond to those signals, which can lower blood pressure. But at the same time, it can also reduce your body's ability to adjust to activity. And that's where subtle changes begin. Not dramatic, not immediate, but noticeable over time. And we're going deeper into that next. Let's continue, because this is where things start to connect with what you feel every day. One of the most common effects people notice is fatigue. Not the kind that comes from a long day, but a steady, consistent feeling of low energy, like you're operating below your normal level, all day, every day. Now here's what's happening behind the scenes. When your heart can't increase its output as freely, your body has less capacity to respond to physical effort, even small effort, walking, standing for longer periods. Doing normal daily tasks, everything requires just a little more energy than it should. And over time, that changes behavior. You move less, not intentionally, just naturally, because your body feels like it needs to conserve energy. Now here's why that matters. Movement is one of the most powerful tools your body has. It supports circulation, it supports metabolism, it supports overall balance. When movement decreases even slightly, your system begins to adapt in the wrong direction. Less movement, lower energy, even less movement. And this cycle continues quietly. Now let's go one level deeper, because this is where most people are not looking. Your metabolism, your body's ability to process energy, regulate blood sugar, and maintain balance. Over time, certain medications can influence how your body handles these processes, and the changes are subtle. You don't feel them immediately, but over months and years they begin to show. Weight changes, energy fluctuations, shifts in how your body responds after meals. And here's the important part. These changes may happen even if your blood pressure numbers look good. And that's where confusion begins, because numbers alone don't tell the full story. Your body is not just a reading, it's a system. And that system needs to function as a whole. Now let's slow down for a moment, because this is where things become very real. I want you to think about something simple, that moment when you stand up, from a chair, from the couch, from your bed, and for just a second, something feels slightly off, not dramatic, just a small shift, a brief lightness, a need to pause before taking your first step. Most people ignore it. They brush it off. They say, that's just age. But here's the truth. That moment matters, because it tells you something about how your body is regulating itself. And after 60, your body relies much more on balance than strength. Balance in circulation, balance in pressure, balance in how quickly your system adjusts. Now imagine this happening not once, but multiple times a day. Every time you stand, every time you move, your body is making small adjustments. And if those adjustments are slightly off, the effect builds, not immediately, but over time. Now let's take this one step further, because this is where most people never connect the dots. When your system becomes slightly less stable, even in small ways, your behavior begins to change without you noticing. You move a little slower. You become a little more cautious. You avoid certain movements. You sit more often. You take fewer walks. Not because you decided to, but because your body subtly guides you in that direction. And here's why this matters more than anything else. Because once movement decreases, everything else follows. Energy drops, muscle strength decreases, circulation becomes less efficient, and over time, your entire system begins to operate at a lower level. Now pause and think about this. It doesn't happen in 1 week. It doesn't happen in 1 month. It happens slowly, quietly, and that's exactly why most people don't notice it. Until one day, they do, and they can't quite explain why things feel different. Now let's talk about something even deeper, because what we've discussed so far is what you feel, but there's also what you don't feel. What's happening quietly inside your body, your metabolism, your internal balance, the way your body processes energy, handles sugar, maintains stability. Now here's something important to understand. Your body is constantly adjusting. Every meal, every movement, every hour of the day, and small influences, repeated over time, create larger patterns. Some medications can influence how your body handles these processes, not in a way that is immediately obvious, but in a way that builds gradually. You may notice that your weight changes more easily than before. You may notice that your energy dips after meals. You may feel like your body is not responding the same way it used to. And here's the key point. These changes don't always show up in your blood pressure reading. Your numbers may look controlled, but your system may still be under strain. And that's where many people get confused, because they think, if the numbers are fine, everything must be fine. But your body is not just a number, it's a system of systems, and everything is connected. Energy, movement, circulation, metabolism. When one part shifts, the others follow. Now let's bring this back to something practical, because this is not about theory. This is about your daily life, how you feel when you wake up, how you feel in the afternoon, how much energy you have to move, to walk, to enjoy your day. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters most, not just readings, but your quality of life. Now let's bring everything together, because this is the most important part. This is not about stopping anything on your own. This is not about making sudden changes. This is about awareness, because awareness gives you control. And control starts with one simple step, asking the right question. Not, what should I stop? But, is what I'm doing still the best option for me today? Because your body today is not the same as it was years ago, and your approach should evolve with it. Now imagine this. You walk into your next appointment, not confused, not uncertain, but informed. You ask, is this still the best choice for my situation? Have we reviewed this recently? Are there options that may support how I feel day to day? And suddenly, the conversation changes. Now you're not just following instructions, you're participating in your care, and that changes everything. Now here's something I want you to remember. Your goal is not just to manage numbers. Your goal is to feel better, to move better, to live with more ease. And sometimes, that starts with a simple review, a small adjustment, a conversation that hasn't happened yet. Now take a moment. Think about how you've been feeling lately, your energy, your movement, your daily rhythm. Does it feel like you, or does it feel like something has shifted? If it has, that's worth paying attention to, because small signals often come before bigger changes, and the earlier you notice them, the more options you have. If this gave you something useful, share it with someone close to you, because many people are doing everything they've been told, but haven't been given the full picture. Take care of yourself, and take care of how you feel, because sometimes the biggest improvement doesn't come from doing more. It comes from understanding what needs to be adjusted. One question, one conversation, at the right time.